It was supposed to be a routine call. Room 417, Wentworth Hotel. A body on the floor. Blood in the carpet. No forced entry. No screams, just quiet. Police lights reflect off wet asphalt. Biz exits a nondescript car, trench coat already damp. A patrolman meets him with a nod.
You're gonna want gloves for this one. I've seen worse, but still.
Biz glanced at a food truck nearby. He wasn't hungry, but the faint smell was enough to catch his appetite. Always present in possible emotion of others, he played off his newly found appetite so his team wouldn't think he didn't care about the new case. Multiple cases did, at time, cause some sort of fleeting emotional tie to each case, to the point that he was invested in each mystery without risking his heart's life's savings. A man in his 40s lies slumped beside the bed, shirt soaked in blood, no weapon, no broken glass, and one overturned lamp. Biz surveys the room slowly, touches the headboard. A subtle vibration runs through his hand. A few various thoughts walked through his mind. Was the lamp used in a fight? No, it was just there. And why didn't this guy use it to fight back? Or did he fight at all? Or was it even a fight or a murder of acquaintance? These days, your killer might be the one you share straws with. Biz remembered when he was young, and he was running a small business. This random employee of his, whom he was paying to pass out flyers, would only pass a few out at different house mailboxes. Then he would go and trash the rest in a dumpster, wait a few hours, and come to collect payment. Fortunately, his clients liked him and told him how he got his daily work done. After a while, he approached him, and Biz did pay him, but told him that it was his last day. So upset that he'd been let go, he pulled out a knife, saying, "Oh, you'll keep paying me for this job." Did he really think I'd keep paying him after treating me like that? And for such an already low-effort job? My teammate Levi was bigger, stronger, and more street than I at the time, and with a quick pace, he marched towards the knife-wielding freelancer, all too ready for hand-to-knife combat. But the assailant ran off. Kudos to you, Levi. You are remembered. A text suddenly spoke softly. No signs of struggle, no fingerprints that aren't the victims. Camera feeds corrupt. Might have been a surge. Biz glanced again towards the lamp. Then he touches a piece of the shirt fabric, gently grasping it between two of his fingers. Then palms the body. He touches the light as well. A forensic guy says, "Hey, don't be moving too much stuff around." He looks around again, scanning cautiously and gently touching a few random objects, as if he was checking for cleanliness without disturbing the dust. Outside the hotel yet again, the night had settled like a layer of soot, thick, unmoving, indifferent. The flashing blue and red lights had faded behind Biz as he stepped away from the crowd and toward something more mundane. The steady hum of a food truck parked half a block away. Its warm lights bled into the sidewalk like a forgotten memory, artificial and pale. Biz moved slowly, deliberately, not in laziness, but in control. He didn't rush, never gave the world anything more than what they required. Each step was rhythm, each blink method. People mistook his calm for distance. They didn't understand what it meant to observe without reacting. They didn't know what it cost to see the world the way he did, where people and things were more than they appeared. He stepped behind the food truck and stood in a faint glow spilling out the window. The smell was sharp, sizzling beef, fermented sauce, something faintly charred and sweet. A few construction workers lingered nearby, chatting low over greasy napkins and heavy laughter. Biz ignored them. Without turning his head fully, he tilted his chin up slightly towards the vendor window. His eyes scanned the menu, though he already knew what he would order. His left hand relaxed, but sure, dipped into his coat pocket and withdrew a thin, transparent film no longer than a coin. From his right hand, a subtle gleam, silvery, nearly invisible, crept into the film as though it was breathed by invisible lungs. It was done in under a second. To the food truck owner, it looked like a man pulling out cash, maybe a napkin, maybe nothing at all. To anyone else, it was simply a man ordering a sandwich. The film disappeared into his jacket sleeve. "One pork wrap, extra vinegar, no onions," he said, with a voice like polished gravel. The vendor nodded. "Got it, boss," the man said, unaware that he was serving someone who could dissect the world atom by atom. Biz's nose twitched slightly as the wrap was passed to him, wrapped in a paper that seemed from within. He lifted it to his mouth slowly, breathed in. The taste was always in the air before it was in the tongue. That's how you knew it was honest. One bite, one chew, the flavor unfolded just as expected. Tangy, hot, oily, with the sharp finish of black peppercorn crushed under boot. He nodded once, subtly, and that was his thank you. Then, as if breaking an invisible seal, Biz turned slightly and looked back down the street. The hotel was still swarmed with movement, cameras flashing like dying stars, voices slicing into the night. He gave a short wave, not to anyone in particular, but in a way that would satisfy anyone watching. "Good night, gentlemen," he murmured, just loud enough to reach the forensic team 2 cars over. A few of them looked up and gave a short nod, none of them stopping their tasks. And then Biz walked off into the dark, half-eaten wrap in hand, the film tucked away and pressed gently against the lining of his jacket, just enough moisture left in the material to preserve what he had taken, a trace. He passed 2 drunks arguing over a spilled drink, a homeless woman murmuring to herself by the corner of the alley, and the flickering sign of a liquor store that hadn't worked properly since last summer. He saw them all, but gave them nothing, no judgment, no reaction. Half a block later, he stopped. The night had gone still again. Biz turned his head slightly, his eyes sweeping the shadows. Something in the air had shifted. Not dangerous, just different. Faint chemical scent. Maybe ozone, maybe detergent, a trace of something foreign. He blinked once and walked on. The case wasn't over. It never was. Now was time to get home, to pull apart what was left, and to see if the trace could speak louder than the man who left it.